All right then. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our July 8th council meeting. So this is a hybrid meeting, so we do have a full room here today, plus we have some online. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. I will say that Councillor Flagler can't be with us today for personal reasons. And then I'm going to start off with the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen is located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as Williams Treaties First Nations. It includes Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Gugog Island, Brahma, Coastal Lake, and Georgina Island First Nation. The township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaties First Nations and stewards and caretakers of the lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Next, I would like to take a moment of silent reflection for council and staff to reflect on our duty to the community that we represent. Thank you. All right, I'll ask everyone to make sure your cell phones are off or on vibrate so it doesn't disturb the meeting. And I'll remind council of the declaration of pecuniary interest. If it arises, you can declare it then. So we have minutes here from the June 17th meeting. I'll look for a motion to receive them if everything's in order. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Doherty. All in favor, and that's carried. Okay, we're going to move right into delegations, and we have 3 delegations and a presentation today. So we're going to start off with Danielle Follette with regards to the construction at the community center. Welcome, Danielle.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Today, I'm here to express my deep concern regarding the timing of planned construction at the HBM Community Center and its potential impact on the availability of ice time for the Havelock hockey season. As president of Havelock Winter Hockey Association, I feel compelled to highlight the significant consequences and any delay could have on our local hockey teams and the broader community. Over the past few years, we have worked tirelessly to revive minor hockey in Havelock. Our efforts have been met with enthusiasm and support from the community. We are just starting to see the program return to normal, and the prospect of not having ice in time for the hockey season could severely impact registration for the upcoming season. This could potentially jeopardize the progress we have made. The availability of early season ice is a crucial factor in player registration. If ice is not available in early fall, some coaches and families seek opportunities in neighboring communities, leading to a decline in Havelock team registration. We experienced this previously when the older compressor would allow for early ice availability in Havelock. Even uncertainty about the start of the season could result in a significant setback for the Havelock Minor Hockey Association. Hockey in Havelock is more than just a sport. It's a vital part of our community that brings people together and provides a positive outlet for our youth. The players who look forward to playing hockey in Havelock deserve the opportunity to have a full and uninterrupted season. A delay in construction could have lasting effects on the continued growth of Havelock hockey, but it also could impact the readiness of our teams for the season. Early ice is important for players' conditioning and team practicing. We need to provide certainty and reliability to our coaches, players, and Hawks families. I respectfully urge the council to prioritize the completion of the HBM Community Center construction to ensure ice availability as we would expect in September. Ensuring that our hockey teams have access to ice is crucial for maintaining the momentum we have achieved so far and for supporting our young athletes. Thank you for your attention to the matter. I'm hopeful that the council will recognize the importance of timely completion of the construction and take the necessary steps to ensure there are no disruptions to the Havelock hockey season.
Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, and we appreciate what you're doing over there with minor hockey. It has come a long way in the last couple of years. So, and we are doing the best we can as far as trying to keep the schedules on time. I'm going to open up the council. If you have any questions for Danielle, go ahead.
Through Mr. Barry, just to reiterate the mayor's statements, thank you very much for all you've done over there, Danielle. The Hockey Association has really turned around here in the last 5 years. I'll speak for myself on council, but us as a council, hopefully we can do everything we can to keep the good vibes flowing over there, right? We're heading in a good direction. And yeah, the last thing I'd like to do in terms of us as a council is inhibit that in any way. So But from my perspective, we should be doing everything we can to get that open as soon as possible. I think obviously there might be a few adjustments in terms of maybe the entrances that people are gonna have to use, but I think it's vital that we get the ice in so that we can have tryouts and all that, and the timeline can be as close to normal as it has been, right? Because I was with minor hockey 4 or 5 years ago when, everybody was heading to Norwood. If I know that if we don't get that ice in by a certain time, right?
We're at a very integral point right now where we're starting to finally accept those players come back. And we were hoping potentially to just start with our base little kids that were just starting and move forward. And now this year, we're looking at actually having a U15 and a U18 team, which is something we weren't really expecting this soon. So it really is integral that especially the older players have that time to like grow as a team in the beginning and get on the ice. And I understand that things work the way that they work, but we just wanted to know that the council was willing to kind of almost pull all stops for us, and we were willing to work with.
Yeah. And hopefully we can. Obviously, the things over there, we're under a timeline for our grant schedule, and a lot of those improvements over there done for accessibility, which has to be done by 2026. That's the service elevator, the handicap elevator, things like that. So we're kind of under a time frame, which is why everything's kind of come to a head here. But as I said, hopefully as a council, we can work with you and do everything we can and keep everything rolling.
And we have looked for this time outside of Havelock, and we're having a difficult time with that.
Okay.
Not many centers have ice at all, and the ones that do have it like so early in the day that our families can't make it that early. So it's kind of putting us in a spot.
Just 1 minute here, Danielle, just if anybody's parked across the road in the parking lot or the business across the road there, their car will be towed. They will phone the police if anybody parks on like on the other side of the sidewalk over there. So just if you're there, you should move it. Sorry, we were just notified that they're not happy. So, okay, Jerry?
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel.
Chair, I couldn't agree there.
Please.
I couldn't agree more with Danielle, as the program is alive, we need it. And as far as I'm concerned, and I made my position rather clear, that the ice will go in at the same time as it did last year.
Quiet, please.
So
Quiet. Pat?
So, with you, Danielle, and I think it should be out, and I see no reason, and I would be prepared to make a motion that we instruct the engineer, the contractor, whatever it is, ice will be going in at this normal time in September. And authorizations, as Deputy Mayor says, for dressing room access may be a little more difficult, but
I understand all those things. I mean, we're very looking forward to having a new arena and a better facility. I mean, we feel like it'll catch us up to, say, neighboring towns and kind of make us stand out, hopefully bring more people back.
I'll second. I was just wondering if we can motion I don't know if it's possible if we could possibly have minor hockey work with staff. Danielle's indicated that they've had trouble securing ice in other municipalities if need be, because we've seen the time frame and there's a couple weeks there that are iffy in terms of whether we're going to get into the date we want. So I mean, if we could work with them in terms of maybe helping them try and secure ice if they need it in other municipalities, I think that's something you'd be open to.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've reached out to Marmora, Norwood, and Campbellford. Warsaw is next on our list.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any.
So they would have to be with the mover is Councillor Doherty. Are you okay with that addition to?
I was okay with the addition, except for the 2 weeks. We're opening. The opening will be the same time as it was last year, and weather was a factor and so on.
I will take that up.
Yeah, no problem. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. Any questions about the motion? All in favor of the motion? That's carried.
All right, thanks for
coming. Thank you, Danielle. Okay, the next delegation we have is the Havelock Senior Active Living Center. I don't have a name here, so if you could just state your name.
I'll introduce myself.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Hugginson, and I'm the treasurer for the Havelock Senior Center. Joining me today is Katie Hayward, our program coordinator, John Mancini, our president, and other executive members, as well as Donalyn Clark, regional development advisor for the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility. We're grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today and share more about our Seniors Active Living Centre, which is made possible through the support of the Ontario government and yourselves. Our club plays a vital role in enhancing the well-being and quality of life for older adults. I'd like to begin with a vision. Imagine a space in our community where older adults come together, learn, laugh, move, connect, a vibrant hub of activity, wellness, and friendship, a place that celebrates aging rather than manages it. That's what the Havelock Seniors Club is. Our seniors are not just residents, they are our volunteers, our mentors, our historians, and our neighbors. The Havelock Seniors Club allows seniors to thrive, contribute, and live with purpose. Today, I'm excited to share how we've made that vision a reality. Last September, a new leadership team took on the executive roles of our organization. With fresh energy and vision, we restructured operations by introducing a committee-based model. This allowed us to better distribute responsibilities and focus on specific areas of growth and improvement. In less than 10 months, we've seen incredible results. One of our proudest accomplishments is growing our membership from approximately 80 to an impressive 299 members, and the numbers are still climbing. We are more than on track and will exceed our goal of 300 members. What's driving this growth? In a large part, it's been our expanded programs and activities. By listening to our members and responding with relevant, engaging options, we've built something people want to be a part of. We are also proud to share that we have approximately 80 active volunteers representing nearly 1/3 of our membership. Their dedication and generosity are at the heart of everything we do, and they play a vital role in keeping our programs running smoothly and our community connected. That level of participation speaks to the spirit of community, connection, and purpose that our club fosters every day. We are pleased to share that our gross profit has grown by 39%, driven by enthusiastic engagement in our programs and activities. Our primary source of funding continues to be the Seniors Active Living Grant in the amount of $55,000. Fundraising efforts, events, programs, and others activities represent our second largest stream of income. Bingo plays an important role, contributing a significant portion to our revenue. Most importantly, we couldn't do this without the invaluable support of the HBM Township, who provides 20% of our club's operating, or 20% of our net operating disbursements. Your in-kind contributions, whether it's staff support, coverage of licensing fees, or reimbursement of taxes or water, plays a vital role in making a meaningful difference. Together, we've built something strong, sustainable, and deeply meaningful for our community. While we did see a 71% reduction in net profit, that was entirely intentional. It reflects our commitment to using the Seniors Active Living Centre funds as they are meant to be used, to enhance and expand offerings for our seniors. In other words, we have reinvested in our people, and benefits are clearly being felt across the membership. Our overall financial health remains strong. In fact, we were able to transfer $20,000 from our bingo earnings in less than 10 months into our building account. This has funded a major accessibility upgrade, and it will soon support the purchase of new ovens. Our bank balance has increased by over 34%. In addition to the ongoing support we receive, we actively are raising funds both internally and externally to purchase a backup generator. We did receive $4,420 from the Senior Active Living Centre special grant towards this. This is a crucial step to ensure that we can continue to serve our seniors safely and reliably during emergency conditions. Thanks to the support of the Seniors Active Living Centre grant, we've been able to offer an impressive 34 programs, ranging from gentle exercise classes designed for seniors with mobility challenges to more active, flexible options for those looking for something a little more vigorous. From card games to day trips, from educational workshops to social gatherings, there is truly something for everyone. Our programming is diverse, inclusive, and always evolving. We are particularly proud that our club is now open 6 and sometimes 7 days a week, often running multiple programs a day. We have built strong partnerships with other local clubs and hosted intergenerational activities, helping to bridge the generations and strengthen community ties. We don't guess at what our members want, we ask. Through our ongoing surveys and direct conversations, we continue to shape our programs around the needs and interests of our members. The results speak for themselves: more participation, more connection, and more fun. While we are proud of how far we've come, we know our work isn't finished. With our current space limitations, it is essential that we continue to grow our partnerships with other community organizations. These collaborations will allow us to expand programming and ensure we continue meeting the evolving needs of our seniors. Our ongoing conversations with local clubs and community groups have already shown a real eagerness to get involved, and we're truly excited to be about the possibilities that lie ahead. Collaborations like these are key to expanding our impact and building stronger and more connected communities for our seniors. We're also deeply aware of the need to care for our most vulnerable, especially during bad weather or power outages. That's why part of our future planning includes checking in during emergencies and building stronger connections within the community. We also plan to partner with local businesses to bring fun and inclusive events to life. Ideas like street dances, sidewalk sales, pop-up socials have already been suggested and are getting positive feedback. Our goal is simple: to reach as many seniors as possible, to invite them in, get them involved, and remind them they are a valued part of this community. With your continued support and the Ontario government, we can keep building something vibrant, inclusive, and lasting for today's seniors and tomorrow's. Thank you for your time, and if anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sandra. And yeah, you're doing great over there. It always looks busy, and obviously a lot of people are using it, and that's what it's all about. So thank you for what you're doing. We'll open it up to council. Any questions for Sandra?
Just keep what you're doing.
No, thank you. So, motion to receive the delegation. Okay, moved by Councillor Clement, second by Councillor Doherty, all in favor, and that's carried. All right. So our next delegation here is Pat Patterson with regards to the town hall improvement fundraising event.
Our spokesperson for our committee will be Megan.
Okay.
Hi, guys. If you don't know me, my name is Megan. I'm here today to talk for Pat.
Okay.
He will be available to answer questions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the person that was going to speak originally had some medical issues and cannot attend.
Okay.
So I'm here today to talk about objectives and fundraising plans for the Havelock Town Hall Preservation Committee. So Town Hall is a cornerstone of our community, serving as a gathering place for residents and a symbol for our shared history. It plays an essential role in fostering community spirit and engagement. Town Hall Preservation Committee endeavors to hold fundraising activities not only to raise funds for necessary repairs, but also to remind everyone of the value of our town hall. It brings both residents and visitors to the town of Havelock. The committee's objectives and fundraising goals are: 1, to preserve an irreplaceable piece of local heritage. As most of you probably know, this is one of the oldest buildings we have here in Havelock. 2, restore and reopen the town hall safely. 3, to ensure that the hall remains a community hub. To promote responsible stewardship of this public asset. Sorry, I had time wrapping my tongue around that. Leverage public and private support, and to engage the public in reimagining the hall's future. Together, we can preserve our heritage. As you can see, Pat's put some nice pictures of the hall. We had the Boy Scouts meet there, the midweek jammers, the HBM, the youth committee was having some dances over there. So about the preservation committee. The committee for the preservation of the town hall has 9 members. Peter Johnson, Pat Patterson, Debbie Follett, Mary Ellis, Danelda Fraser, Bev Matthews, Graham Houston, Pete Little, and Deb Otley. There are 25 supporters as of right now, and it is growing very quickly. Benefits of preserving our town hall. Plus, a preserved heritage building opens the door to provincial and federal heritage grants, fundraising campaigns, and private sponsorships that require historical and cultural relevance. The cultural heritage and value preserves local history. The town hall is a living piece of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen's heritage. Saving it honors the township's roots and shared story. The architectural significance. As one of the oldest civic buildings in the area, it reflects earliest 20th century craftsmanship and design. Symbol of community identity. Its visual and emotional landmark, many residents have personal or family memories tied to the space. And I think most of us in this room have some kind of memory in there. The economic impact of this, the heritage tourism potential. Restored heritage buildings attract visitors interested in local history, architecture, and small town charm. Rental revenue. Once restored, the hall could generate income by hosting weddings, events, performances, workshops, and markets. Increased downtown activity. Revitalization would drive more foot traffic to nearby businesses, helping stimulate the local economic growth. Environmental and sustainability benefits. Adaptive reuse. Restoring and reusing the existing structure is more sustainable than demolition and new construction. It supports revitalization goals. Saving existing infrastructure aligns with sustainable planning and smart rural development. Community development. Event and gathering space. The hall can once again serve as a flexible venue for music events, plays, public meetings, and educational programs. Volunteer and youth engagement. Restoration and programming can offer opportunities, youth, tradespeople, and volunteers to contribute and build community pride. Civic engagement. Investing in heritage builds public trust, pride, and a sense of ownership in the community and its future. Imagine a town hall with a bright new future. The HBM Museum, celebrating our heritage. Art gallery, art guild and workshops, and community hub, business, bungalow space, and services. These are all options that we could look at upon the restoration of the town hall. So today we are asking for the council's support in starting some fundraising campaigns through this committee. The first event that we would like to bring to the council is a classic car show in the park that would be held at the Rotary Park, August 9th, 2025 from 1 to 4 p.m. We'll have a classic car show, live music, barbecue and refreshments, and permitted contest ticket sales. Thank you for support, guys, and let's make this happen. Okay, I'm gonna let Pat get up to Nancy.
Okay. So thank you, Megan, for that, and Pat, and you can come up there. I think one of the things that you'll find later in the agenda, this is something that's important. Even the past council, at the end of the last term, we started a process. Now this term, we're continuing with the process, and that's why we're where we're at. But as you'll see later in the agenda, we are putting money into the town hall. It's something that's been lacking, and our goal is to get it open again. The worst thing is like opening and closing and opening and closing. So there's a few things that we got to do to get it open so we don't have to close it the next week. And then we hear back that, you're kicking us out again. We are close. If the things later on in the agenda get passed, there is a process that once that's done, we should be able to open from what I understand. And then we need to get a plan in place. And now if you guys raise 1.5 million, that's your first car show, we'll get it done quicker. But right now it's looking like we're going to have to develop a plan that's going to be spread out over a couple of years or 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. And we will be able to apply for grants and all those things that are going to help us through the process. But now that we've got the up-to-date drawings, like I know since I've been on council, I've seen 3 sets of drawings. This one here is detailed, up-to-date. This gives us something to work from. And that's our goal here. So if anybody thinks that we're, we're just trying to skirt around this. We're not, but it's complicated. And, you know, there's lots of people out there that would say tear it down too, but I don't think anybody's at that point. It is the oldest building. Since I've been on council, I've learned that the stone hall and the town hall are something that we need to be proud of. So, anyways, go ahead. Is the council got any questions for Pat?
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say before we go any further, I just received this report. This is the last one. It's a good report. The people did a thorough job. I can't say that I agree with the numbers on what it will cost. And our committee are going to look into that also, because we do have certified people that are insured. And we hope that our committee will be able to bring some numbers back to the council. Maybe you want to prove them, but maybe you'll look at them anyway. I'd just like to say one more thing. I don't think anybody in Havelock blames the council for what's happened there. It's just that it was never, the previous councils, they get money for infrastructure, and that money was put in the bank. It really wasn't put in the buildings. And there was a mandate passed out. So I really know it wasn't this council. It was mandated that the survey was done to look at all of the buildings. And this wasn't just in Havelock. It was done in Edinburgh County. I think that's right, Jim. Anyway, our committee is hoping to help this council and everybody involved so we can raise money and put it back into the council, and we can get this thing planned. The other question, I guess, is back in past years, whenever there was a mandate done, I'll just give you an example, a big school up there. The town here decided they were going to sell them. And I would ask council, has anybody looked, how much money will it cost us as a committee to buy the town hall? Has anybody looked at it? Look at it. We have 3 people outside of Havelock that might come up with the money. And I'd like you to look at it. Anyway, how many people are here to support the town hall? Would you put your hand up? These are people that they want to get this thing rolling. So now I'm hoping that you will agree and we can, excuse me, give us the Rotary Park. We're looking to do a lot of stuff over there. The only thing I'm going to ask is, can we get some signs made? I make up the little signs for the fish derby and put them up permanently. And number 7 highway and over the road. People don't know where the Rotary Park is. And that's shameful. That's about all I got to say. Thanks for your time.
Okay. So are you saying you have a private person that wants to buy the town hall? Did I understand you right?
Please.
And people would like to see it go private?
Well, I'm just asking.
Then we don't have any control over it.
No, no, but that's what happened.
Okay, that's good to know.
They sold the school there for $1.
Okay,
$1.
Yeah.
The station over here, it sold for $5.
and they're apartments now, so maybe we need more apartments.
You know, we have spent a pile of money for outside surveys here.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, so just a minute, I'm sure council has some questions or comments, so Councillor Clark, go ahead.
Okay, so Pat, right from the very beginning, you took me through the town hall many years ago. You know, I think all of us are firm supporters. There's no question about that at all. I think we're asking, like, we've got our reports now. We need to work on a plan. I'm sure we're be happy to work with your committee or whatever. But you do know you have our support. I mean, we're here for you. You know
yeah,
that.
we know that.
So that's, we'll do what we can. We'd like to open up, but I agree with Jim. I don't want to open it up and then have to say, oh, gee, we have to close because we got to fix this wall. Let's get it to the point where it's safe for everyone to go back in and we can still continue to do the minor repairs afterwards.
That's right. And then if it takes 10 years, we can do it in stages. And we just set that up. Maybe, like we say, for safety, let's get it open. And then if we have to do something with the basement, that can be what's stage 2. Well, we'll work it all out, whatever you people decide. Okay? Any other questions?
Yeah, no, through just a comment. I just like to thank you and the whole group in terms of taking initiative on this because for many years, we've had people coming here saying, fix up the town hall, fix up the, as Councillor Clement said, I think we'd all love to fix it up. We only have so much money here, right? Without raising taxes. So for an outside group to do this and try and pair with us in terms of alleviating some of that cost, fantastic. I wish I saw more of it in our community. I see it in Norwood. I see it in other communities. They have hospice Norwood, other fundraising events. Every time they want something over there, like I said, the community group like you guys have will step up and take part, right?
Yeah.
So thank you very much for doing that. And as I said, I wish I'd see more of this in our community. So
Just one more thing that I don't think anybody's thought of, but we looked at grants. You know, in Camelford, they just got done building a big complex over there for the arena. And I know the building inspector, and I took a tour back and they were building it. And I said, how can this community afford this? He said, the Greening Corporation put in $55 million. Yeah. And they got the agriculture grant and two or three other ones. It's only going to mean about 7% for the taxpayer. And he said to me, why don't you tear that doggone old arena down Havelock and do the same as we did? I said, I didn't even know that the gaming corporation, I always wonder what they did with their money. How you know? So we're going to go after that.
Sorry, one more thing, guys. Sorry. Oh, for your car show, you know, you can't park on the soccer field.
No, that's not,
Okay.
Yeah.
never was in the game plan.
Okay.
Because I know how I play soccer. We don't
Yeah.
know runs.
All right. Gotcha.
Okay. Councillor Doherty, you had a question?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, for all those that put their hand up, say you want to keep the town hall open, that's at any cost, just so I understand as a counselor. If it's 3 million, we're doing it. Is that what we're saying? So, just a minute. That's, I just wanted to be clear because we've gone through a lot of these studies and we're now going to get a presentation later that has some longevity to it. What has to be done now, what has to be done later, accessibility and so on. So I'm with the rest of council, like to see us have our information before us in total for dollars, timing, in order that we don't spend your tax money because it isn't an inexpensive item.
No, it's not. But you know, we've already spent from your $300,000 on outside surveys. Number one, 222,000, second one, 176,000, and the last one, 80,000. This is a great report, guys. That 80,000 is the best report you received. The only thing is the cost that they've come down to cut the glass. I already have a cost on that. Anyway, our committee's going to look into all this. I hope that we can bring this to council. And then I'm not saying you're going to accept it, but at least you'll look at it. And we'll help you. We're not here to go against you. Okay?
So between the last council and this council, we've already spent over $100,000 just on roof ramps.
Yeah.
We've started the process.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to understand. It looks like Councillor Doherty said, it's a lot of money. We want to make sure we do it right. Any of that money that we spend, and one of the things you got to realize is that your committee is going to get involved in that part of the process. It'll slow us down because we're starting today. There is a recommendation later.
Yeah.
If we go with that, and then you say, well, we can do it cheaper, by all means, go and try and do it cheaper, but keep in mind that it's going to slow things down too. Like we've started the process. Let us keep going.
We're not in business slowing it down.
Yeah. Good.
The only thing, I would say one thing here. In this report, it said something to change all the windows. I went to the Heritage Department and they said, whatever you do, try to keep it intact the way it is. Don't change any windows and don't change any doors. But this says change the doors, change the windows. If we don't lose that, we'll lose the grant.
So like the things later, any of those things that are recommended in there will be public. And if you see something like that and you have a concern, by all means, reach out to us, say, hey, like you've told us now, like the windows, and I've heard that before too, the windows. So, okay, Theo Angioni.
Through you, Mayor Martin, just a question to our presenters, Megan and Pat. On the slide that says, imagine a town hall with a bright new future. HBM Museum, Art Gallery, Community Hub, Business Bungalow Space and Services. Is your vision for the town hall that it looks like it looks today, or are you envisioning something different there?
Yes.
And reimagining that space?
Yes.
Looking different?
Yes. We're looking basically at the basement where we have the two police cells down there. we would redo the whole basement, and we've already taken the artifacts and we put them up in the library. We would have somebody go through that, sort it all out, and there'll be little areas down there, we'll say the Ellis Farm, and all them people, and then the next one and the next one, and we'll take from a high school in Norwood and down here and educate them, and we'll put tours on through there. And there'll be a donation box there if they want to put money, go ahead.
I think what Pat is suggesting is bringing in the Historical Society to have some sort of a historical museum in the basement of the town hall that we could bring the kids to, or whomever, tourism, what have you, maybe on a donation basis, so that they could see the history of our town in the surrounding area.
Everybody's gonna see the jail cells, because I recognize the name scratched in the wall.
I know I was put in there once.
I seen your name, Pat. Bob, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mayor. Thank you for that response. I just want to, again, double check, because so the community hub piece of this, business bungalow space and services.
So I think what they were thinking possibly was because you've had the OPP in, or, you know, people like that, maybe there could be a place in there where they could plug in a person that's on the road, or a person that's needing a connection, a plug-in spot to do a little work. Maybe we could have a small spot designated for that.
Thank you for that response. I'm just trying to clarify, because this could change the plan.
That's right.
And we just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So we'll certainly be connecting throughout this process.
We're actually looking, not gonna happen, we don't want to slow it down. We're looking at probably, this may take 8 years. It might, hopefully it'll be done in 5.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But we're gonna work together and get it done.
Thank you.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Webb.
So yeah, I'll just make a motion that we support the ask from the committee.
Okay, support the ask from the committee.
Classic car
For the
show.
Classic car show.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have a mover, and Councillor Clement is seconding that. Any questions in regards to the motion? All in favor? And that's carried. So, thank you. You got our support.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Ray Barlow.
They here?
Let's see.
They may not be here yet, so we can just move on, and when they
Okay.
come, we'll carry on.
All right then, so we do have a presentation with Aon, I guess he's not here yet, so we're just gonna keep motoring here, and so we do have planning reports here. I'll give Samantha a chance to.
Yeah, Samantha's not here. Travis will be presenting today.
Travis?
I can hear.
Sorry, I thought I had a bit more time with the other
Yeah.
delegation.
We had to go off script today, so.
You can put your microphone on too, Travis. You have a request from Jenkins?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We have a request from Calvin Jenkins for a property at 8921 County Road 50. We've done this a few times in the past. There somebody's wants to have a temporary travel trailer on site while they build their own homes partway through the construction. Like to have a travel trailer. Pretty proud.
The second. I just let people better, you can't hear it. Okay. If you're leaving, leave. If you're not, sit down.
Oh, who's on wait a minute. Who's on it could be.
Anybody online, just. We're just trying to let people get out of here.
For you today.
I didn't know you.
Just jump the standing, see? Okay, rock, is it good? Is it? Oh.
But just so the people in the room understand, the people online can't hear when there's all that bubbling in the background. It really messes up the speaker system. So that's why I'm saying we can't have anybody talking.
Right.
Okay, all right then. So Travis, the recommendation here for this Jenkins.
Yeah, so he's just looking for approval in principle before we go through the temporary use bylaw. And that'll come back to council for approval.
Right then, Deputy Mayor Webb.
Motion to approve.
Motion to move the recommendation, second by Councillor Doherty. Any questions? All in favor? And that's carried. Yeah, the next is a consent application.
The consent application B 4425 for Brian Buttermore. It's on County Road 47. Roll number 010-008-00102. Subject property comprises approximately 3 hectares, 7.43 acres in size, with road frontage on County Road 47. Next slide, please. The purpose of consent application B 4425 is to sever the property and create one new vacant residential lot on County Road 47. After the report was finalized, the lot configuration for the severed lands was amended. A mutual entrance was originally proposed as part of the consent application. However, the amended application reflects reduced entrance spacing requirements from the Peterborough County, which allows the severed lands to have its own entrance. Next slide, please. The updated site plan, as shown, still maintains all minimum zoning requirements and does propose a more uniform lot configuration. If approved, the lot to be created will comprise approximately 1.1 hectare, 2.74 acres, with approximately 109 meters of frontage on County Road 47. The retained parcel will comprise approximately 4.7 acres, while maintaining 613 feet of road frontage on County Road 47. No changes to the recommendations of the staff report are required to facilitate the amended site plan. Based on the township's review of the subject application together with supporting material, is the township's planning opinion that the proposed consent conforms to policies of the township official plan, as well as complies with the requirements of the township zoning bylaw. Staff's recommendation that council advise Peterborough County Land Division that the township endorses the applications for consent to create one new residential building lot referenced as B 4425, having assessment roll number 1531 010-008 00102, as submitted by the agent Ecoview Consulting, with the following conditions: $1,000 cash in lieu of parkland be paid to the municipality. Development agreement be entered into between the township and the homeowner and registered on title at the applicant's expense, which would have the effect of implementing the recommendations of the environmental impact study completed by Cambium. And that a zoning bylaw amendment to the application be submitted for the retained parcel, the portion of the wetland buffer for it to rezone to environmental protection, that the balance of the report be received.
Okay, thank you. So what's council's thoughts here? Councilor Clement?
So through you, Mayor, just one question, Travis, and it's nothing, I guess it's not us, the entrance, they deal with the county for that? For the road widening?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is the county.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so we have a recommendation here. Does anybody want to move the recommendation? Moved by Councilor Clement. Second by Councilor Doherty. Questions? All in favor? That's carried. Okay.
Thank you.
Next item. Okay, so we're moving into staff reports for information here. We have a few items left for information. With regards to either one of them. What report, sir? Staff reports for information. There's two of them.
That include Lionel?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really have a question, just a comment. Thank you to Lionel for the report on the capital projects. It really helped track in terms of what's getting done, what's not getting done, the timeline. So appreciate all the work you put into that line.
Questions?
Yeah, just curious, there doesn't seem to be any report on the fire side as to them using much of their budget that they've been outlined. And particularly I think it's called the UTV or something, utility vehicle that was a must in the budget. but it's not been purchased yet, or at least there's no indication. So if it's not going to be, if there's no need, maybe we should look at maybe bringing that back into the capital for some of their project, and the other ones, if they're not going to be used. We're in July now and the year is running out. So anyway, just a comment on that though.
Okay. So if there's no other comments, I'll look for a motion to receive the staff reports for information. Moved by Councillor Clement, second by Deputy Mayor Webb. All in favor? And that's carried. All right, so then we're in staff reports with follow-up action. The first item here is the tire packer for public works. You're welcome.
Yes, good morning, members of council. First report to present today is the purpose of this report is to provide council with 3 written cost estimates for a new tire gravel packer for the township grader. Recommendation, council will award the purchase of the tire gravel packer from Brant Tractor Limited in the amount of $33,800 plus applicable taxes. Budget for this gravel tire packer was $39,500.
Okay. So the recommendation here is that we move ahead with it. So
Just quick question, maybe for some people that are here. Pete, in terms of the gravel packer, why exactly do we need the gravel packer? Why does it help?
Through you, Mayor Martin, to Deputy Mayor. The packer, after the road is graded, the gravel is so loose, and if it'll help maintain and make the gravel road maintained and stay in shape and create less potholes as the packer is packing the gravel above the grade.
So basically, we're gonna save money because we'll only have to do it once instead of doing it 2 or 3 times. So
Yes, and especially through you, Mayor Martin, through the dust suppression through the calcium chloride being spread, it will definitely aid in making the road last longer.
thank you, Peter.
addition, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Doherty. Any other questions? All in favor? That's carried. Right, next, the road needs study.
Yep, through you, Mayor Martin. Purpose of this report is to provide council with 3 written estimates for the roads needs study, a speed study, sign study, and also a bridge inspection program. The council approves the staff recommendation to be awarded the roads needs study, speed study, sign study. The entire Ontario structure inspection manual, which is the Olson report, to Engage Engineering in the amount of $41,750. Total budget on all of the studies was $68,420. So staff recommends that these reports are all interconnected, and the reports can make one trip across the township roads one time and combine all the reports as the reports interconnect speeds with the roads need study. Classification of roads will all be done at one time. So there's quite a bit of savings as we compile the studies together.
Good. All right then, so Councillor Clement, go ahead.
I'm just going to comment and then I'll make a motion to pass. So I did ask Pete about the time frame, and what was it, 5 months?
Yes, so through Mayor Martin to Councillor Clement, I did reach out to Engage if approved, and they are proposing the end of October, we will have all the studies and the reports back to us.
Okay, so Councillor Clement's moving the recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Doherty. Questions? All in favor? Yeah, good. Okay. Next is the GPS system and monitoring contract.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. The purpose of this report is to provide council 3 written cost estimates for a new GPS tracking system. Recommendation, council awards the purchase of the GPS system and monitoring contract to BioTab in the amount of $3,500, excluding HST for hardware, and that council approves the additional expense of $2,800, excluding HST, to be added to the Public Works operating budget. And further, if required, council approves the installation costs on the 4 tandems in the amount of $600. I'll explain a little bit on the installation on the tandems, as the tandems do need some hard wiring installed on the truck to monitor the PTO. Sander is actually placing sand on the road. So that's the additional expense with the 600. So, but it's $150 per truck.
Okay, so recommendation,
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We've got the hardware cost here, Pete. What are the software costs? Is that the 2880, the annual fee?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, so the initial cost is the $3,500 to purchase the actual units. And then the annual fee is the $2,880 annual fee per year for the 12 UPS units.
So in terms of that, is the software already compatible with the systems that we have on our computers, or is there going to be an additional cost to bring somebody in to set up this hardware?
Through you, Mayor Martin, no, they said it's very, very user friendly, that we can do it ourselves, and most of the installs will be done with staff as well.
So do we have a time frame in terms of, like, is that a couple of weeks, a month, a couple of months? How quickly once we get the hardware, can we get this up and running?
Through you, Mayor Martin, when I was on the Zoom meeting, probably within a month. If we give approval, they will ship, and then we will probably receive within 2 weeks, and the installation can forego from there.
And then just as we bring new trucks on and get more hardware for more trucks, we can just bring those on the system ourselves?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin, that's correct. Yep.
Thank you, Peter.
have the recommendation here, we'll move it. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Doherty. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, single layer surface treatment.
Yes, the purpose of this report to provide the council with a recommendation for award request tender PW 202503, a single layer surface treatment.
So this is for the 8th line and bronze line.
Yes, so there was the tender was out for the construction of the 8th line and Brown's line. There we go. And as you can see on the screen, the tender closed on July 4th, so we didn't have the preparation to tender. So anyways, we have the letter of recommendation this morning, and as you can see the numbers, the letter of recommendation states that Greenwood paving definitely fulfilled and was the lowest compliant bid. So the letter of recommendation through Engage Engineering is to award to Greenwood paving.
Okay. Councillor Doherty, go ahead.
So you remember, right? So is that for Browns and the 6th? Is that the combination number, or is that can't really have?
No, three, Mayor Martin. So that's the Browns line and the 8th line. The 6th.
So it's the total of the two?
Yes.
And what was the budgeted amount for
Uh,
the combined?
The budget amount, we were top of my head, a very good question. I believe it was in the 460,000 range. But that also allows us to do some ditching required, some culverts, and add some gravel as well. So this is definitely within the budget. And staff will be doing the rest of the work in-house as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so November, second by Councillor Clement. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you.
You. All right, item on here is the event to be held at Rotary Park. Kind of.
Already did that thing.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Welcome, Josh. We're gonna move into the lower library drawings.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and members of council. Purpose of this report is to obtain council's approval on the allocation of fees relating to the drawings for the lowest level fire separation. A little bit of background. In April of this year, it was discovered that the fire separation between the lower and upper layers of the library is not installed. Township staff hired an architect company to complete the drawings in order to obtain a building permit so the work can be performed. recommending that the funds of $14,023.73 come from the administrative reserve general ledger.
All right, so this is just the drawings to get the process going on,
To you, Mayor Martin, that's correct.
and that will allow us to go for an RFP.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right, then, Councilor Doherty.
Moved.
Moving. Second by Councilor Clement. All in favor? And that's carried.
Great, thank you so much.
Great. Again, economic development, in terms of reference, very welcome.
This report is bringing back the terms of reference that were introduced at the last meeting.
Okay.
Our recommendation is to accept the track changes that have been presented in the document, so that it's much easier to follow in terms of the language adjustments.
You're gonna
I'll make a motion to move it.
move the recommendation by Councilor Clement, seconded by Councilor Lewis. All in favor? Carried. Okay, recognition.
Through you, Mayor Martin, our 2025 Community Recognition Awards, as we highlighted last meeting, will take place Thursday, September the 25th, and we're about to announce the nominations. It came to our attention. We have a local resident who has been competing in the Special Olympics and realized that we have an oversight, one that we'd like to correct. So we are recommending to council that you approve the expansion of the approved 2025 Community Recognition Award categories to include sporting excellence, any team or individual who has won a provincial, national, or international sporting event, and acts of heroism, an individual who has displayed bravery in the face of personal risk, injury, or death at an incident that took place either in Havelock-Belmont-Methuen or was to the benefit of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen resident, and which action did not occur while the individual was acting in his or her capacity while on duty.
Okay,
Okay, I'll make a motion to pass.
it's moved by Councilor Clement. You have a seconder? Yeah, Councilor's already seconding that. Questions? All in favor? And that's carried. Get carried. Okay, private road grant.
Mr. Mayor Martin, this application for the Positive Road Grant Program comes from Fire Route 57 Road Association. They're requesting funding for expenses associated with ditching, improvement to the road base, and culvert installation on Fire Route 57, as well as for expenses associated with the improvement to the road base on Fire Routes 57A, B, C, and D. And these are two grant applications in the amount of $1,500 each.
Okay. All right then. Deputy Mayor Webb.
Motion to approve this with a question for the CEO. In terms of that grant, how many of those grants have we used this year so far, Bob? Do you know what the tally is?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's me.
I'll get that one up there. Yeah.
Through you, Mayor Martin, yes, this is our second application of the year. So the previous application did have two funding for two as well. So this will be a grand total of 6,000.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a mover. Second by Councilor Doherty. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, next is the Seabrook Historical Monument. This is the second part of the process. Last meeting, we asked staff to bring a costing back. Costing is here. Besides the recommendation for you.
Sorry. Motion to Mr. Mayor to accept the recommendation.
Okay. So the recommendation here is that we move ahead. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb. Yes. Question, you want to second it and then follow with the
Second,
question?
but I'd like to ask a question. Did we get 3 quotes?
No.
No?
And I don't know, is it required or it's,
It's under the threshold.
It's under the threshold, 3/4 is not required.
Okay.
However, the council wishes, we can.
okay.
All right, one more question. Who will be doing the work? Is that in there?
Who's doing the work, Peter?
Mayor Martin, can you repeat your question, Council?
Sorry, so three, Peter. Who's doing the actual physical work? Like, who are we hiring?
It's in two pieces, through Mayor Martin. So Drain Brothers has been contracted to actually move the rock.
Okay.
And St. Ola Concrete has also is also involved with pouring the concrete pad. So it is the concrete pad is definitely going to be able to hold the rock. That way, it's a 6-inch concrete pad, reinforced rebar mesh,
Okay.
32 MPa. It's
Okay.
definitely going to be able to.
Okay.
So those are the two contractors.
Perfect. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Okay. We have a mover and a seconder. Any questions? Go ahead, Mr. Doherty.
I assume we have enough money in reserves to do that.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Good.
Council initiative.
Council initiative.
Okay. Mover and a seconder, all in favor of the motion, and that's carried. Okay, Anderson Road boat launch. Talk, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Martin, so at our first meeting in June, on June the 3rd, council received a delegation regarding repair to the boat launch, the Anderson Road boat launch, and the possible implementation of a dock there. So staff has reached out to Crow Valley Conservation as well as the Ministry of Natural Resources regarding the process. Work permits are required for either the repair of the launch and or the installation of a dock. So to proceed, we would need council direction to proceed with the work permit. An engineer drawing would be required for Crow Valley to proceed with the repair of the launch.
Okay, so we have three options there. So the first is to undertake all necessary steps in order to proceed. The second is it adds the dock in there, an estimate for regarding construction installation of the dock. And the third is receive the information request.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we go with option one. I don't know for this stage yet. We don't have docks on a lot of these other lakes right now, so I'm not in terms of going down the road of committing to putting a dock there. But I think, as I said, when former deputy mayor was here making his presentation, I think he was more concerned about kind of just the shoreline and whatnot and what's there in terms of that being cleaned up and these getting it out of boats. I guess once we get that cleaned up, we might have to revisit this dock thing in terms of that. But I don't know if I'm at the point yet where we don't do it on other lakes. We've had docks on other lakes that we've since taken out. So, but I'm all for cleaning up the boat launch to make it easier for people to, to get in and out of their boat. So I'll make a motion for option one.
All right, it's moved by Deputy Mayor Webb that we go with option one. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councillor Clement. Questions? All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. So, I'm gonna get that cleaned up. All right, next item on here is Fish Hatchery Road. Rob?
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. Back last fall in September, council did pass a motion to commence the process for the acquisition of Fire Route 18, also known as Fish Hatchery Road. Staff submitted an application to Infrastructure Ontario, and the process was commenced. And there was a process for purchasing the property, and one of the items was with respect to having a survey done, and Infrastructure Ontario has now completed the survey of the road. And what they've discovered is that.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh,
You can.
Yeah, it's fixed.
Carry on.
We good now?
Yeah.
Okay. What they've discovered through the survey is that the surveyed portion, the property owned by Infrastructure Ontario, does not completely follow the travel road. So there's approximately 6 properties there that may require easements. So staff is recommending that we proceed with obtaining those easements prior to concluding the purchase of the property.
Okay. So, yeah, they may be in place already, but we haven't found that. So the recommendation is that authorize staff to commence the process of securing the required easements along the travel portion of Fire Road 18. Okay, is moving that.
Yes.
All right. Is there a seconder for that? Second by Deputy Mayor Webb. Question, go ahead, Councilor Doherty.
So the cost of these easements is going to be borne by the government or HPM, or who's paying? Because you got $169,950 to redo the road and it's 19 culverts. Now, you're going to add to that, or is this included in that? Just a question, thanks.
Pretty Martin, I think I'd like, you're gonna have to find out who they belong to, because some of them have no name, right? They may already be, national resource, I don't know, so. But I would assume somewhere we would have some money to acquire some easements, because it's going to become our road.
So it would probably come out of the 169,000 and then it'll be blessed for the road. I don't know what has to be done on the road. But.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, and I get the part in terms of the cost, not knowing the cost, hopefully it's not too prohibitive. I don't think it will be, but the fact is, we're a long way down this road and we're almost there. And so, a little thing like this, I'm not concerned about. I think, as the mayor said, I think that the money we've put away in the reserve should more than cover what we're gonna need, so.
I'll remember July 7th, great. On the cost.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor of the motion, and that's carried. Yes. And the repairs to the old town hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's no, this is the work. Like the start.
Yes.
Thing would be done there. So the price for this is 35,000, not including HST, for the mezzanine glass railing system. And the amounts are, sorry, that's for the attic dropping abatement. And then there's the glass railing for 25,000. And then there's the structural engineer design and prepared for the roof joist that needs fixed of $10,000. So altogether, there's a $70,000 expense to be put into the town hall from either the OMPF or picking in reserve. So this starts the process.
Through you, Mayor Martin, so the OMPF funding, would that cover it? Could we do that? And my other thing is, would this be enough to sort of, well, this will be the first step, right? Okay. I'm up funding.
I'm sure there's OMPF funding. It's just, will this get it open?
Yes.
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So further to the engineer's report that is attached to the staff report. So on page 6 of that condition survey report, structural inspection identifies immediate repairs that should be addressed as soon as possible, while noting that there is no risk to public safety. So these items that have been identified, the mezzanine has been identified by the Janus Group as they want that to be done, and they've been asking for that for a while. So while we're up there doing other things, let's get it done, and then we can reopen and proceed with other repairs.
But through you, Mr. Mayor, just a question in terms of the timeline we've got here. So it says approximately 12 months for detailed design development. An estimated another 3 months for tendering and contractor procurement, followed by a projected 18+ month construction period.
3 years.
So you're telling me it's 3 years to get this done?
No.
Cool.
That's what I got too.
Well, that's the way it reads, so
No.
I'm looking for clarification. What's the timeline then on getting this done and getting it open?
Through you, Mayor Martin. So if council approves today this expenditure, we would immediately request the drawings be completed, the engineer drawings. We would immediately reach out to get the bird droppings abatement. And hopefully that could happen within the month, I would expect. Not sure on the mezzanine, I would have to check in with my colleague in Parks, Recreation and Facilities on that. Perhaps that could be done within a month. I'm not quite sure about that.
So we're pretty much just a couple of months.
Oh, yes.
Move
In the
this
summer,
couple of
I
months.
believe all of this
Okay.
could be done this summer.
Thank you, Bill.
Dr. Doherty, go ahead.
Through your chair, under the work on the mezzanine, I think as part of their proposal, we have to do renovations to the kitchen and the bathroom. When we do the glass upstairs and the mezzanine, is that going to be accessible, or are they going to require us to make it accessible after we do the glass?
Travis.
Oh, there he is.
It's through you, Mr. Mayor. I would say that the balcony, the stairs and everything is not accessible. So the glass is just a safety.
But the question is, if we spend money on the glass and can't get anybody up there, what is the point of spending the money on the glass? Sorry,
So
I'm not putting.
So by accessible, I mean, I guess I mean barrier-free accessibility, that sort of stuff. Certain people can get up there, but it's not for everybody.
We do have an accessibility report, and I don't know how it falls in that. Because we have also the follow-up question, is that also the problem with the stage is it'll be open, but you can't get to it. Certain people can't get to it, and I don't know how that accessible review is going to reflect on that. Because my concern is, don't spend the money and then find out we have to spend more, and I know that's not your bailiwick, but
No, but it's through you, Mr. Mayor. It's my understanding that there's no requirement to make the balcony accessible. That would mean rebuilding stairs, it would mean elevator, it would mean everything else. It's just putting a proper guard up there so the people that use it don't fall on it.
This, there is a good chance, like, even the railing thing, if such a thing, there's a hiccup. That's one of those things that we talked about, then like, this isn't stopping us from opening. We could open, as soon as the bird droppings are done, we could probably open, but it's that unsafe railing up there that, it's been partitioned off, but it's not really partitioned off properly. So the recommendation here is we get these couple of things done and then wait for the drawings, but we could possibly be open before September if we could get these things done. If timing works. The next thing is getting contractors to do it, which we all know can be a challenge, but it's.
Through you, Mayor Martin, just to clarify and to further the comments of the chief building official, the accessibility portion of this building and repairs to this building, there are a number of items that are required. The stage and the balcony will never be accessible to those with special needs. That would require a completely different renovation and elevators and whatnot. So that's not part of the plan. And further to comments from Deputy Mayor Webb earlier regarding the timeline you were thinking about approximately 3 to 5 years that's the whole picture. That's everything that's been looked at the building.
Thank you, Bob.
So just a comment. So with the Accessibility Act, it will probably grandfather some of the historical buildings, will it not? Because I know I was at a place in Kingston with my mom and they said we didn't have to because it was of a certain age. So you went weird that you cannot access certain areas. Is that correct?
So through you, Mayor Martin, the accessibility report does detail what they believe should be corrected. The items that are not must do have been left off or have been included. Others that have left off, they do not have to be changed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the recommendation to move forward is.
Another question, if I may. When we're talking about the $70,000 in the report, I read that as to being more like 80,500. Am I missing something? Because it says 35 for the droppings, 25 for the rail, that's 70. And then there's 10,000 more for the reinforcement and the drawings. Did I miss something, or is that included in the 70?
35 and 25, 60.
Okay, and then 70 is.
And 70.
Yeah, so it's all in everything. Okay, before I misinterpret, thank you.
And just to clarify, the 70 includes the engineered drawings only, doesn't actually include the joist repair. Don't have a quote for that yet. But that could be another 10 to 20. So this entire project probably can be completed with 100,000.
We have that in writing.
No, I don't have it in writing yet. That's why it's not been
It's
before.
kind of contradicted what we said that 70 we're going to do it for, and now it's 100. So I kind of like to know whether it's 100 or 70, and it can't hold it because it's got reports to do on it. But it's a bit of a stretch, I think. Anyway,
So it's one of those things, yep, we're into it. Been into it for a long time, so there is an opportunity here to keep moving. So if somebody wants to move it, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Clement.
I have a question further follow-up. Please, if I may. It also says in a number of these reports, if we're going to commit to fixing the town hall lot, it has to be maintained on a yearly basis going forward, or we're right back where we were before. With an older building, it is even more prevalent. So we have to understand that our operating costs are going to go up as well as the capital costs. Just so I'm trying to get the numbers out there so everybody has a clear picture as to what we're signing on for. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, and hopefully something, Councillor Doherty, that's something we can deal with in budget in terms of maybe adjusting the amount that we're committing to the facilities budget, about the amount we need to commit towards town hall. Obviously, that's going to have to be readjusted. So hopefully at budget, we could examine that and modify it appropriately.
Once we have a lot of these things fixed, hopefully it'll just be an inspection yearly, not. I realize there's going to be other things along the way, but hopefully nothing major. Once we, in the next 3 to 5 years, if we fix this building up to standard, hopefully it won't be that much, but that's just the plan.
So that's something that got us in trouble, and we started a long time ago with we got to look after these buildings, like your house. If you don't look after it, it'll fall down. This has been neglected. Now we're trying to fix that problem. And yeah, there'll be a cost to it in the operating side of it, but it's one of those things that should have been happening all along and it wasn't. So I thought.
And through you, Mayor Martin, just further to those comments, the documents also do recommend that every 5 years a structural assessment of the building be conducted.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. Call the question, all in favor of the motion, and that's carried. All right. So the next item here is the outdoor sports complex. That's what the grant. So,
Yes, through you, Mayor Martin. So township did apply with council direction. We did apply for the Community Sport and Recreation Infrastructure Fund grant back in the fall. We have now been, as per the staff report and the letter attached, we've been informed that the grant was unsuccessful. At this point, council can decide to either wait for another grant or proceed with the reduced scope of work as attached to the report. So today we're seeking direction from council.
So the one thing that I always worry about grants is they're great when you get them, but they are going to tie things up for could be years. If that's the route we're going to go, that's fine. The one thing that we do have an opportunity here, we did start some of the process as far as preparing the property for what we're planning. And maybe there is an opportunity to staff to let us know what we need to do. There's some small things, that maybe aren't the $600,000 that we could try and get the field ready. So when something does come along, or when we do decide to build these ball diamonds or anything else over there, that the grounds are ready. So to finish the zoning process, it would be nice to be able to get that done and be ready when something, and it probably looks better on any grant applications too. That's just my thoughts. But,
And I agree. My one question for staff was, in terms of the grant itself, if we did move ahead with, say, something like the mayor said, in terms of putting me up maybe a roadway, parking lot, hydro things we're going to need in the future over there, will that affect our future grant, our ability to secure a grant in terms of the fact that we've already started work over there?
Difficult to know for sure. Typically with these grants, you do not qualify for any grant funding for any work that's been commenced. So anything that's already started, you wouldn't be able to apply for. So anything that has not yet been started, we could possibly apply for. Depends how they would look at that application. If they look at it as one big project and you've already started it, it may disqualify us.
Okay, further to the mayor's point, if we prep the property as though planning obviously building ball fields and a sports facility, but if we just prep the property with a parking lot or whatever that didn't really indicate anything of say a sports field, is that something? Or is that something you'd have to look into in terms of contacting the province or whoever? I don't know if it's a federal or provincial grant, but
yeah, I would anticipate that would not be an issue. I think if there was a rudimentary parking lot there, I don't think that would be a grant issue. I think we would be fine to apply.
well, I don't think the parking lot was in the grant application anyways, because we were going to stay gravel, isn't it? Okay.
just further to that, then I'll just end it. I kind of agree with where the mayor's going in terms of, let's get started over there. We've put some money aside to our budget in terms of this, probably more than we need at this point, because we thought we were going to secure the grant. But I think there is enough funds there to, as I said, at least prep the property and have it ready for the next grant application, which should help us.
Would servicing be something that the grant, because it's not serviced now, and is it a grant approvable or within or whatever, because it's a big ticket item?
Through you, Mayor Martin. So the criteria for every grant can be a little bit different. So it would be hard to know. It'd be hard to answer that question today. It would depend on the criteria of the grant when it's released. We'd have to review that. I could speculate that perhaps there would be funding for servicing that piece of property, but I don't know that for sure today.
Thank you. So I just wonder if the motion would be that we ask staff to come back with a costing of some things that we can do within our budgeted funds.
I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Clement. Any other questions? All in favor? That's carried. Okay, so that's the end of follow-up action. I'm going to see if we can take a break for 10 minutes and we'll come back continue with the meeting. I don't see our president here, so yeah, let's take a break, 10-minute break, come back at 5 after. Moved by moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Clement. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to look for a motion that we resume the meeting. Moved by Councillor Doherty, second by Councillor Clement, all in favor, and that's carried. So we're going to go back to delegations, and we have Aon here with us today. So welcome, Ray. And
Michael.
Yeah, so we have a presentation with regards to the long-term care and progress. So you can take over, Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Martin, council, staff. You guys have been very helpful as we've waded through the process of building a long-term care in Havelock. It's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of effort. And we're here today to give you a bit of an update on the progress of the site and a little bit of what's going on in the next few months. Our goal is to open September 2nd. I'm here with Michael O'Keefe. He's the administrator of the home and will be the frontline person in Havelock for Aon. And we're looking forward to creating a great thing for Havelock. Michael?
All right. We need to speak into the microphone.
You can put the button on there, it'll help, yeah. Just push the top button there.
Is it on?
There you
He's
go.
asking what.
Yes, we did now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we have a small presentation for you here, the number of photos that were taken recently of the home. And just a little bit about Aon and who we are as an organization. So again, for Aon, we're family owned. The business was started in the late 1930s, focused on Eastern Ontario. Senior accommodation is really a big focus for us, with health services becoming a focus in the 90s. We're well over 600 employees. We're probably closer to 1,100 now. And we are a value-based organization, being a success is anchored in family ownership, long-term perspective, and service orientation. Right now, our business segments consist of, we have 2 long-term care homes that are up and running in Millbrook and Tweed. And I think some members of council may have visited some of those homes. And I run both those homes. And now we're opening Station Place here in Havelock. With retirement, we've got 540 plus suites. We have 5 retirement communities. We've got 1,800 plus apartments in Ontario and Houston. With commercial, we've got over 300,000 square feet of office and retail space. And for leisure, we have the Port Hope Golf and Country Club, which is a lovely, lovely course. And we have a construction division called Aon Builders. So as we're building Station Place, we are the general contractor. So it makes a difference, because when other long-term care home operators build something, they hire a general contractor, they're gone in a year. You've got a year to put your deficiency list in, and there you don't see them again. So we build things a little differently, knowing that we're going to have to live with them for a long time. So our approach to seniors accommodations, we're looking at comfortable, clean, and attractive environments, caring staff, plentiful common areas, innovative services, and residential design. That smiling woman on the right there is one of our executive directors of home in Peterborough, Canterbury Gardens, and she's been with us for about 30 plus years. In fact, we were giving her a hard time how young she looked in that picture. So Station Place is going to be 128 beds. It's modeled after Centennial Place and Moore Place. It's going to be a home-like, comfortable environment. This 10-acre site with 7 acres devoted to Station Place, so it's fairly large. There's 4 self-contained home areas that, per Ministry of Long-Term Care guidelines, with 32 beds each. That's the most you can have in any home area. It's 2 stories and close to 90,000 square feet total. One home area will be dedicated to dementia care. There's a large atrium lobby, there's a fireside lounge, 2 contained garden courtyards. You'll see pictures of these as well. 4 dining rooms and small kitchen areas serviced by the main floor kitchen. There's private dining rooms off every dining room. We have a patio cafe off the fireside lounge. There's a place of worship, therapy room, hairdressing salon, and a gazebo that we may know about. Yes. So this is a picture. So a lot of these pictures are current. So there's still construction going on. So we'll show a different finished product once we're open. But right now, you're going to see some construction along the way here. So this is one of our 2 enclosed courtyards that provides sitting area space for outdoor programming, which our life enrichment staff are excited and looking forward to doing here. We'll have some large umbrellas off to the side, and there's a balcony space you can't quite see. That's above the 2nd floor, and then an enclosed space on the ground floor that's all shaded with furnishing there. So the atrium entrance, this is from Moira Place. So it's a lounge area and a central gathering space. We do a lot of our activities here. On the left side of the screen, there's the color guard from the Tweed Legion. There's members of CFB Trenton and CFB Petawawa. And Madoc Army cadets are in there. They would come out for Remembrance Day. We have a fabulous service. They have the same service that they have in Senatoff down at Tweed. So we'll hopefully mimic that here. And then on the right, That's an Easter egg hunt. We would put out 26,000 chocolate Easter eggs for kids. We would give away 4 different bikes for different age categories. And our grounds person would tell us that, they'd find 1 or 2 chocolate eggs. The kids got them all. They scoured through. So yeah, we would put the youngest in the fireside lounge, and we would clear out all the furniture and put chairs all around the edges, and our residents could sit there and watch all the young kids, go through it's just a fabulous program. So physical room layouts, it's slightly different than our other 2 homes. We have 80 private rooms, and we have 48 enhanced basic rooms. So we have 128 rooms altogether. Our other 2 homes have 112 rooms because they have a number of rooms where 2 people share a room, which is a basic room. Here, all our basic rooms are private rooms. You share the bathroom only. So we'll employ over 170 staff in various departments, and we're well on our way to hiring most of those people. We've got quite a few positions filled. We report on several indicators monthly, and this is long-term care in Ontario. This is life and long-term care. We report on falls with injuries, emergency department visits, number of wound infections, number of new wounds, new stage 2 to 4. They look at stage 1 is like a red spot, stage 4 is where it's an open area and ulcer. Incidents of aggression, number of medication errors, number of written complaints, changes in functions for the activities of daily living, the behaviors of daily living, bladder, bowels, number of residents on antipsychotics without a diagnosis of psychosis, percentage of food eaten by every resident at every meal every day, changes in cognitive ability, locomotion, depression, mood, incidents, including physical or verbal aggression, coughing, choking, missing resident, alleged abuse, neglect, falls, bruises, skin tears, sexual behaviors. We report on all of that, and we record all of this daily for every single resident. There's a lot that goes on in long-term care that people don't always realize. So we're funded and regulated by the Ministry of Long-Term Care, who inspect us several times per year, including a full resident quality inspection that can take up to 2 weeks. And they do not announce when they're coming in, they just show up. All staff must undergo a police check with a vulnerable sector screening prior to employment. Also, all staff must be trained through an orientation and then annually on up to 24 separate topics for fixing, the legislation that applies to us long-term care. So here's a little snippet of staff orientation and how language influences culture. We tell our staff their choices in language we use are more important than you may realize. Typically, your thoughts influence your actions, and your actions often reflect your character. Your character, which is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual, is important to us, and it guides you in every interaction with our residents, your coworkers, family members, etc. Your character is a big part of why we hired you. So this is something we put up when we have what we call Caring Together. It's our staff orientation that we do for everyone. So we show some language here and talk about unacceptable language compared to acceptable language, and it's very important for us that we're talking about this. Because again, if you're talking the way we want you and thinking about people, looking at people as individuals and not tasks, you have a different paradigm. So unacceptable language would be feeder, and acceptable language would be a resident requires help eating. You'll hear this in long-term care homes if you ever work in long-term care. Diaper, we use brief for continence product. Diapers are for children. Bib, instead of bib, we say clothing protector. Units, we say home areas. Would you rather live in a unit or a home area? Lockdown unit, well, Heritage is where we provide dementia care. Facility, it's not a facility, it's a home. We understand there are facilities, but it's a home. They're a Hoyer. Hoyer is a brand of lift, and people say this. They say they're a Hoyer, meaning they require assistance or mechanical lift. I'm going to do Mary. I'm going to help Mary, what we prefer. Honey, dear, and sweetie. Some people just use this in their normal conversation. We want people to use the residents' names. And we're okay to say Mary, honey. And of course, if the resident is okay with that, we typically ask them what they'd be called. And in lockdown, we'd be an outbreak. We don't say lockdown. That sounds like something far more severe. So we do things differently. We have a benevolent fund. So anytime anybody donates anything to the home, be it furniture, a TV, something like that. We do a staff silent auction. Money goes to benevolent fund. Then with that money, we look and see if residents require something that they can't afford themselves. They don't have family, they don't have support, and we'll buy it for them. We've purchased wheelchairs. We've paid for emergency transportation, emergency dental. Over the years, bought somebody a very large screen TV because they sit in the room and watch TV and they can't, and they had just a tiny one and nobody, no family to get anything for them. Residents assistant staff orientation. So we bring residents in, they help, and our staff ask them questions about what it's like to live here, what it's like to move here, and all this, that kind of thing. We created a residents' rights video. We use adult-based Montessori principles, GPA's gentle persuasive approaches for dementia care. We train all our staff in that. We typically have a music therapist. BSO is Behavioral Supports Ontario. We have staff that are geared towards handling behaviors and understanding where they're coming from and working with families and residents and staff. We have no physical restraints. So there's no bed rails. We don't have seat belts unless you're going to do the seat belt yourself in a wheelchair, but no bed rails, because bed rails, the number one issue with bed rails is death. That you will get entangled and you'll be entrapped, and then you won't get out of there, or you'll have a severe incident. And we typically have free Wi-Fi for residents and guests. Here's some pictures of the home. So these were taken the end of last week. We've got sod down there now. We're watering it. So you can see there's some brown spots. So yeah, and it's been so darn hot. Again, here you can see a different view of the front there. And you're going to see this is runoff pond. So it's got grass all around it, but that typically will be empty for the most part. And we're metering out the amount of water in there. The view of the entrance. So there'll be a roundabout so people can come in and drop their loved ones off or pick up. And this is a view of inside the building. This is our front desk area. It's a massive front desk. It's actually quite large. There's very nice windows there. When you come in, the left side of the building where you would come in. That's the fireside lounge. And again, you see ladders and other such construction equipment as we're still being built. But it's a great space for our residents to use for all sorts of programming. Hair salon. So again, under construction, we don't have the chairs in there, but we've got lots of sinks. In fact, we have an extra 34, 35 hand washing sinks because the infection prevention and control standards ever since COVID have escalated. So we need hand washing sinks everywhere, including our place of worship, which we don't see about pumping in just holy water. So this is a view of the elevators from the ground floor. And this is a resident hallway. You can see it's fairly long. This building is wider and taller than both our existing buildings. For one thing, all the rooms in place and Moore Place, there was two persons in a room, so it went this way, and then it turns the opposite way here because all the rooms have only one person in there, so the building naturally is wider. This is a view of a care center. The care center is on the left, and there's a little lounge across from that on the right. It's got a half wall, so we'll put a TV up there so staff can be at the care center and can see residents sitting there, observe what's going on. Residents like to be around the action. It's a view of the care center. You can see the dining room on the right, and you'll see a different picture of that, and a hallway at the left. Another courtyard picture. That's the dining room, so you can see the chairs and tables there. And again, we've got still working on getting everything set up inside there. Those are the chairs. They're actually quite nice. They're with a beige back and a darker seat with a nice brown material for the frame. That's our servery. So you'll see that actually has black granite. This is sneeze guard on there. There's two doors to go in and out of the servery for staff, for our dietary staff. This is a service corridor, so it's up on it's on the second floor. The flooring is quite nice. And this is just a look down a resident hallway. And this is a view of a room. So you can see we haven't got the beds made up yet. There's still plastic around the mattresses. So we're yet to finish this. Another view of a room. You can see they're looking out at the courtyard. Another view of a room, again, they're looking out at the courtyard from the side of the building. They have a closet built in. Our other two homes have used wardrobes, so we went with closets this time. There's a view of a resident bathroom. They have a wheelchair accessible sink and grab bars beside each toilet and shelving there for their personal toiletries. And that's the common shower. So our staff will bring residents to shower. We also have a very large, very expensive bathtub in each home area. That's just a view of some of the millwork inside the shower. And this is a den that is in every room. You see there's a hand washing sink by the window there. We don't have any other homes, but hey, we got them here. And this is a view of the courtyard from the den. Oh, sorry, that's the balcony. That's a sitting space. It's a view from a window beside there. And this is the view of the tub. These are rather expensive. It has an overhead lift there. We also have lifts that we can move along to lift people up and get them in and out of the tub carefully. We have infrared light in the ceiling there, so when people come out, we can keep them warm. Different view of the lift of the tub. This is the main kitchen. On the right, there's a car wash, and then there's a three sink spot wash you have to have, dishwasher. And here's a view of some of the equipment. Again, we're not all finished having things set up. See, our far left side, there's a walk-in freezer, and then there's a walk-in fridge to the right. And nice machine in the back. That's a soup kettle with the cardboard box inside of it there, and some other prep equipment. Yeah, there's the walk-in freezer and the walk-in fridge and a vegetable steamer on the right. Our laundry, so we have brand new washers and dryers, industrial. They're quite heavy duty and do a fabulous job. So we'll have full-time staff in there. We'll be working, we'll have about 14 hours a day of staff working in there. And this is again the laundry and showing some of the cupboards and the millwork that's in there. Unfinished. This is a mechanical room. Every time I go into this room, there's even more stuff in there. It's very complicated. There's some two very large upright boilers. All the pumps on the left, well, not pumps, are flow switches for the sprinkler system for the building. That's for fire safety. And in the middle are pumps for hot water heating and for hot water distribution. Yeah, it's quite a room. When you come on the tour, we'll take you through there. It's quite something to see. This is their generator, so this thing is massive. It was started up just over the last couple of days, so it's a good thing that we've got that going. So it will run the entire home. So we won't need if we lose power, it will start up, and within 8 seconds we'll be off the grid and running full power on everything. There's a propane tank there as well, and we're now required to have a backup fuel system for hot water heating and for domestic hot water heating. So it's and building heating systems. You used to have a backup system for generators, but no, you no longer do, because the natural gas says you won't run out of natural gas. So yes.
Or just quickly. Is that propane tank in behind?
That's propane tank there. It's because we have to have an alternative fuel source for our hot water heating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's hot water boilers are running off natural gas, but they had to be modified to be able to be switched over to propane in the event that we lose natural gas. However, our generator isn't, because the standards change and codes changed. Now generators don't require backup, but our hot water heating does.
And a separate type
heating. So we that tank was $70,000 because we couldn't rent it because they knew we'd never fill it. So that was a bit of a hit.
I used to have extra little things like that, right?
Oh, here's yeah, things like that. On the right is a rack for our servers. They are being installed the week of the 21st from the computer company that we contract with and have used for a number of years. They're fabulous. And then on the panel on the left is shows all the smoke zones in there, so it can pull smoke out of the building in a hurry for exhaust. This is just some of the HVAC equipment that's on one of the roofs. It shows all the units on the right are for cooling, and directly to the left side is HVAC for the service corridors and the service areas on the ground floor. This is just the second floor view of the courtyard. And this is just another view of that little lounge area and the care center. Flooring is all in, the carpet, it's all carpet tile. So in case we have a problem with someone, we can just replace one piece of tile, switch it out. That's a view from the second floor looking down into the atrium. And that's our place of worship. You see it there. There's some nice windows in there. And there's a hand washing sink on the left-hand side. The box in it. Okay. So how to get onto our wait list. So you've got contact Ontario Health at Home. There's the phone numbers there. It's 800-263-3877. And ask to speak with a care coordinator to get onto the wait list for Station Place. Put in here and we can get you these pamphlets if you like. But this is what was sent out to 20,000 Ontario Health at Home clients who are looking to get into long-term care. And we've got over 180 people that are looking to get on into the home right now in the midst of processing application. And we're somewhere around 90 that we've accepted. So we're going to get it to 128, and that will happen in short order. There's a couple of websites here with ontario.ca to explore your care options. It shows you if you're looking at long-term care, this is how to get into long-term care and or to get into retirement if you're looking at something else. And the second one just shows you how the costs for long-term care, because all long-term care homes in Ontario, the rates for staying in long-term care are set by the government of Ontario and price.
No.
The ghost in the machine.
It's just somebody
online.
Okay. Right. So those so that tells you how you get in the cost for long-term care. Again, the rates for private rooms are set. For basic rooms, they are geared to income. So if you do not have the an annual amount that's based on your last year's notice of assessment from Canada Revenue Agency, we do a calculation and we will charge you an amount that leaves you at least around $160 a month for incidentals that you might need. And what happens is that the Ministry of Long-Term Care tops us up for the difference. And that should be it.
This is so exciting. It seems like I feel like I was a lot younger when this process started. I didn't have gray hair and I had hair actually.
Before 2007?
Yeah, like
because I remember touring the group when I was at Centennial Place. That's around 2007. Looking at Havelock.
2007, that was our previous mayor and on council of the day. We did a tour of all the facilities and started the process, and it's a process, I tell you, like, you know, it's a good example of persistent, I guess. Ross Smith was around then, Brett's dad. So
yeah. And he died 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's kind of feels really good to see it at this stage, and it's kind of exciting.
We have a little something to memorialize this effort by everyone in Havelock and the council and staff. We got you all a coffee mug.
No.
Station Place on.
Thank you.
It all comes down to a coffee.
Full of coffee?
Do we get free refills at the lounge? Question.
You're welcome to the lounge.
Thank you, Ray.
There's some extra for
Staff.
You've been a big support. Thank you very much.
That's right, I appreciate it.
Great presentation. It's nice to see it coming to a conclusion. A question for you: are all the things you have to do on a daily basis, is that done by like automated? Have wristband? You just
no.
So it's all manual.
Yes.
Okay, so that kind of takes away the second question. Is I can't get a report if I'm a parent or somebody that has somebody in there. I can't go in and say at the end of the day, well, what was he like today? And your report would print off. That wouldn't be possible under the present system.
So, well, funny enough, you asked that because at our other home, Centennial Place, we're working with a company that's putting in a system that will automatically monitor vitals and produce a report and doesn't require, it does passive monitoring. So they've been working on it for some time and Ray's been heavily involved in that. So they're looking at being able to share that kind of information with people, but it can monitor your temperature, your respirations, your heart rate, all those kinds of things without any other equipment other than something that looks like a smoke detector that's in the room. So for us, if we're taking vitals, we have to manually take them. Yes, that's how we do it and check on what's what. However, everything is documented into a residence care plan. We do it all online through a software system called Point Click Care. So all our charts are online. It's a very expensive system that we pay into, and our physicians will be using that. All of our staff who are in the circle of care chart in there. And if someone calls and they're the power of attorney for care or the substitute decision maker for the resident, they can ask and we'll provide them information on what's happening with that resident that we've seen charted.
Very good.
Yeah, well, it seemed to me you are doing it automated if you can. I'm just saying, like, if you go to the hospital now, you say, I just need a report on what happened here today. You get a paper copy when you leave, what services you got, what you kind of paid for. And I guess if I'm a distance and have a power of attorney, I know it could become a problem doing it every day because it's time. But I was just curious whether we're at that stage. Yeah, a lot of hospitals are changing to that type of.
Yeah, all the actual vitals have to right now have to be taken by a registered staff member, right, and recorded and then put into the software system. And we're the ones who have access to that. That's not, we don't give out access to that because there's personal health information. It gets very complicated and how that's shared.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I think Hart had a question, Bob and then Kathy. Sorry.
No, just a comment, like the merit. Thank you for all you've done, Ray, you as well through the process. We're just very happy to be at this point where I'd say it's over with, but it's almost over with. And I've been by a couple of times. I try to drive by once a week. So I was over there just the other day. It looks fabulous. You got the lights, the sod, the tree going in. Just a great addition to our community. So thank you all. And hopefully it's a success for all of us moving ahead. So
that. Yeah, you really have to thank Brad Smith here. He kept his dad promise.
No, and we will.
Yeah, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kathy, go ahead.
Well, through you, member, this is just a comment. When I was going through the presentation, thank you, because Michael, I've been to most of the presentations. I had a good chuckle when I got to the bathtub. My mom loved the bathtub. And when she passed away, one of the PSWs said to me, "Oh, Kathy, she used to just purr like a kitten." And as soon as I saw that on the presentation, I thought, oh, there's going to be some residents that just love that. But I think it's amazing and it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. And again, we'll be having an open house on October 24th in the afternoon. And you're certainly all invited to that. But we'll put that into the papers and let the public know that that's going to be happening.
I believe we've already invited the council.
That's your official opening, right?
We've already.
That's not when I move in. I did.
No.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Sure, you remember, and Michael, Ray, thank you for your presentation. That's very well done. I know you talked about how to get into our wait list, how to get onto our wait list. I'm going to ask you to just expand a little bit on what Ontario Health at Home is.
Certainly.
I just want to be clear that people shouldn't be calling their council member if they want to come into Station Place. They shouldn't call the municipal office because we can't get them in there. There is a process for that.
Absolutely. So the number that was up on the screen is for Ontario Health at Home, and they are the gatekeepers to long-term care for the province. So you have to go through them. So what happens? You contact them and say, I have either a loved one or myself that are looking to get into long-term care, and they will send out someone to do an assessment and determine your eligibility for long-term care. Once they have made that determination, they will say, okay, yes, you're eligible. You now need to choose, they'll say choose 3 or 5 homes. right, in geographical area, depending on where you want to be. And a number of homes that are already open have rather lengthy wait lists. I mean, this is an opportunity right now for people to get in and get in on the ground floor and get their loved one into a long-term care home because we're opening up 128 spots.
Through just further to that, so that's for the people that aren't in there. Say someone, I've got a few calls from people, somebody's in Warkworth and would like to transfer back to Havelock because they're from Havelock.
Yes.
Is that the same process that
Exactly.
you have to go? Okay.
So they just let them know that they want to transfer to a different long-term care home.
So
You can do that from another area of the province.
but they have to actually go to that number. They can't really do it through the home, right? So
They cannot.
okay.
We cannot. Ontario Health will be telling us who we will admit. We will let them know. So what we're doing, we know that there's over 180, 190 people who want to get onto our wait list and have applied to them. And we've accepted over 90. So we accept them, then Ontario Health at Home tells us who we admit and when.
So I imagine that list is pretty fluid as far as like, because they've got 3 or 5 choices, they're probably always changing, like, you know, if they accept somewhere else, they'll. And forget, I don't know, maybe they drop them off automatically then once they're accepted somewhere else, so.
Ontario Health at Home does that. They remove people from the list. We have a system called the Health Partner Gateway. This is where we go in and check on who is on our wait list or who is applied to get onto our wait list. And then we make a determination after looking at their care needs to see if we can accept them, if they would be appropriate for the home.
Okay.
So Michael, is there any choice given to first to local people?
If we could control it, we would ensure that a local person came first. The Ontario Health at Home makes that determination if someone would like to talk to them and see if they can influence that in any way. We'd be happy to back you there. However, we are not the ones who determine who's the first resident moving in. We did that in Tweed. I mean, it happened that we had a Tweed resident move in. That was someone had a long time established family in Tweed, and they were the first woman moved in. Was a local. It'd be nice if we could do that here.
We can do that for Mayor Martin.
Yeah.
It'd be an honorable rather than.
Anyways, any other questions? So this is great, and hopefully Brad will be at the open house.
He probably but
I enjoyed listening to Michael. I think Station Place is in good hands with him. So he will need your support, and thank you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Most welcome. Thanks. All right.
Thanks. Great. So most of you received that.
So there's more months.
Thank you.
So he's very in favor. That's carried. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy to pleasure, folks. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Talking to you.
Yeah, I know.
About.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I knew to jump in early.
I'm already on the waiting list. I don't need to get.
So.
Yes.
We have some correspondence here, and the first one here, what Travis, you're gonna take it on here for redevelopment? Demolition redevelopment, is that?
I can speak to them or answer any questions you have for sure.
Okay. All right, then, so, so we have 2 correspondence action items, so. Has anybody got any questions with them?
No, just a motion for the first one. The first one is Jenkins. The second.
No, it's commercial property on Round Lake.
I can speak to it a little bit. We did receive the letter addressed to council. By 2 abutting owners did have the opportunity to speak to the Scots. And I addressed the item in the letter, including the 4 questions they had. It's Dubé's I did not get a chance to speak to. I think by speaking to the Scots, they were satisfied with my responses. And he said he would reach out to the Dubé's and have them call me if necessary. really it came down to the four questions for clarification. So has the town received an application for development or rezoning for this property? There was no need for rezoning of the property. They were able to comply with the requirements of the zoning bylaw. We've issued 4 demolition permits, 4 rebuilds. They were 30 meters back from the high water mark. They obtained approval from the Crow Valley Conservation Authority, and we also issued new permits for sewage systems as well. So the second question, necessary permits for demolition and future construction being obtained? Yes. Site plan approval process currently underway and completed. It was not required. They were able to keep within the size of the rebuilds. The site plan approval or site plan agreement was not triggered. And the last question about the parking and environmental assessments. So existing parking, nothing has changed that way. And environmental assessments, we have the Conservation Authority that has issued their permits. And then they've asked, one thing I explained to them, that building permits are not the same as a planning application, so they're not a public consultation. If they can comply with everything, then we issue the permits and there's no requirement to notify neighbors.
Okay. What do you need for a motion here? Just see.
Remember, I think we can just receive that for information. The questions have been answered.
Okay. All right, then, so just a motion to receive the correspondence action number 1, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb. Second by Councilor Clement. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, next item here is that like Bradley Cross.
Yeah, if I can speak to it briefly too, there is a picture of we have for us. Last week I attended the site. Our bylaw enforcement officer, Mike, has been with the trailer park quite a bit and received a request to replace the trailer that we see in the picture there. So what we didn't know was how much it encroached onto the roadway or if it did encroach onto Shady Lane. So when I was at the site with the Langs, we were able to measure off one side of a survey stake and another side, the opposite side of the road we could measure off. And when you look at that trailer with the deck to the right of it, it appears that the trailer and almost all of the deck encroaches on the roadway. So the road is not the center of the allowance. So there's the encroachment of that trailer, the next trailer past it, and a small portion of the house encroaches as well. So when the request came in to Mike to replace the trailer, he did his due diligence to make sure that if it was going to be replaced, it was going to comply with the bylaw, and that's when we found out the encroachment was there. So the request is for council to consider an encroachment, and I've advised the owners if council do consider an encroachment, we would need a survey to identify the lands shown with the encroachment by way of an R plan. We would then draft an encroachment agreement that would be registered on title. The cost of that would be associated and borne by the applicant. And then insurance with the municipality named as additionally insured is about $5 million. So I believe the Langs are in attendance as well by Zoom, and I'm not sure if they have anything that they'd like to have.
Oh, yeah, they're not on here, but Deputy Mayor Webb was.
Yeah, pretty much short. Just you guys were to the site traffic. Is there? I get this is for this property, but I'm just trying to look into the future here. That if we go ahead and okay this, there are other trailers or whatnot along this property where said we could be opening up a can of worms. Like is this kind of the only one that?
It's the 3 there is that one, next one, and then the house has a small corner of the house that approaches. I would think you would want to capture all of it now that we are, or if council's not interested in the encroachment agreement, then they would have to move off the road.
Yeah. And that's thank you for putting, because that's exactly, if we're going to do it, then let's do it all. And but if we're not going to do it, then let's just not do it. But I don't want to do something and then have them come back and we have to do it again 6 months or a year from now, right? So
And the survey
looking for Peter's input as well as road superintendent.
So the survey will pin off where it's at right now and it won't go any closer. Like, you know, how things happen to shift even more. It won't get any, they'll pin it off, right? before they move it?
I think that's the first step. If even going to be considered is to obtain a survey and find out how much actually.
Yeah,
So what the motion would be to,
what would you suggest to start the process of a survey?
If council's willing to consider it, then we can survey it, or otherwise if it's off, then.
And you would have to be, you wouldn't want to get them, you would have to say that, you know, we're okay with it. You don't want to tell them to get a survey unless it creeps in even more. You don't want to ask them to get a survey and then say, no, we're not doing it. So.
Yeah, again, they're kind of looking for somewhat of an approval in principle, and apparently that they've owned the trailer park for 38 years, and that's these two sites have been occupied that way since, and there just isn't the room. Sites are so tight, you can see the other trailer to the right, just isn't a lot of room, so they could lose two sites if not.
yeah, I'll make a motion that we let them move ahead with the survey and whatever you need from them, or you or Pete or whatever, so to check the boxes, but it's their property, let them do what they want with it. They're obeying the rules.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead.
Through chair, okay, so the survey would be, so this is a trailer park, individually lots owned or leased, how are they,
That I'm not sure, I assume they just pay rent on each lot.
So who owns this brick? Like is it
The
under,
entire parcel is owned by the Langs that have put in the request.
okay. And we're not concerned about any of the other ones on, at this point. Like, for example, 87, 88, because they're on the road as well around it. Like, it's just, I'm concerned, like the deputy mayor was, how big is this going to get when we do it? Are we just doing a survey of lot 1 and 2 and 3? Or are we doing a survey of the trailer park because it'll probably show up?
Looks like from what I see, I could be wrong, you correct me. There's only 4 there that are along the road, right? The rest are along the waterway. So it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Am I right on that, Travis? That would be affected by the.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, the trailer lots are 1, 2, and 3, 4 that abut Shady Lane. The one that shows residence is the one that the corner of that just encroaches on by a couple feet as well.
Okay, thanks. But it's pretty much all at one side.
Yeah, just at one side. So they would survey that road and it would determine where that road is and what all the encroachments are between number 4 and where it shows the propane flows.
Yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to get halfway into it. And I just wanted to be clear. Thanks, Travis.
Okay, so deputy mayor, whoever's
I don't know if
moving.
Travis wants to say the motion, but I'll.
Yeah, we started the process, and like you said, checking the boxes, so between Peter and you and everyone else, so, okay.
So just to clarify, the motion is to obtain the survey at the expense of the applicant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a seconder for that. Okay, Council's already seconding that. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Mayor Martin, so Travis, is Shady Lane owned by us? Is it
Shady Lane is a municipal.
It's municipal, okay, that's, I just want to verify. Yep, that's fine, perfect, good. Okay.
Oh, it did shut his up, did he? Yeah. No, because that one's on up there, so I can normally shut all the mics off, but this is, when they're flashing like this, they're in a whole new, they're doing their own thing. So, it won't shut off anyway. I won't either. That's a sign of talking too long. So, okay, so we have a mover and a seconder, all in favor, and that's carried. Thanks, Travis. Of correspondence, so the committee liaison report.
County council.
Update.
County council update quickly, June 25th meeting. A report on the or a debrief on the ice storm. The response to that went pretty well. I missed that meeting, so Mayor Martin might be able to take them in if anybody wants any more detail on that. As well, we purchased 4 new ambulances for the I approved it for. And what was the other one? Do you want me to get into the commercial garbage? Keep it.
You can.
We put that in open, didn't we? So yeah, so anyways, county voted to no longer pick up, there'll be no longer commercial garbage pickup paid for, but it'll be on the residents or businesses themselves, so. And that will come at a cost savings of roughly $670,000. So that's about it.
Okay, and we're going to Councilor Flagler had minutes from the committee meeting. Councilor Doherty had the agenda from May 14th, the community policing.
Yeah, I think I spoke to it last time. There's no real changes, and I won't have the minutes to the June meeting until September now, because that's when we bring it up.
Okay. So if there's no questions, I'll look for a motion that we receive the liaison reports. Moved by Councilor Clement, second by Deputy Mayor Webb. All in favor? Carried. Okay. So we don't have any written notice of motion before me, so we'll notice a motion for today. Okay, we'll move into other business. So a few things on here. Councilor Doherty, you have a few things.
Through you, Mayor Martin, in the county did a service review in 2015, and as part of that, it mentioned about maybe looking at the 16 to 8. I guess my question is it on the table, off the table, because we have an election coming in 26? So I don't know whether you want a motion or just give it to yourselves to go back and just get clarity, because I think the people that are going to be running in 26 are old, though. If it's in there, are they going to do it or not?
So it's not in there. It was received in principle by council of the day. And they set up some subcommittees instead to review the identified items. And the committees that were set up were a Governance and Communications Committee, an Infrastructure Committee for Public Works, and an ITGIS Committee. And February 2021, the Governance Committee reviewed all the numbers of the local boards, committees, and council members were appointed to it. And they surveyed the council and they came to a conclusion that with all the work that's for subcommittees and all that, that it would have been so much work on the remaining councilors that it would have been a full-time job. So right now it's spread out among 16. It is changing a bit because I think I was the one that brought it up at the strategic planning about looking at that. I've done it twice now and it gets shot down every time. So that's the first time they did a real review of it. And anyways, it didn't fly. So it was just received in principle. So it's not on the books anyways.
Okay. Second point is we're jumping a section of George Street and moving over for the next part of the construction. My view is that we maybe should let the public know, other than just the council meeting, because they're going to think it's rather peculiar. We're moving along fairly quickly when we jump. And I think just to help kind of let the public know that there is some rationale and reasoning behind the move. And I did talk to Peter yesterday about it because I was completely and absolutely lost as to what they were trying to tell me in the June, whatever the last meeting was, about why they were doing it. But he crystallized the thing. So it's just my opinion. If council feels they're okay, that's fine. But I think the obvious thing is, what are they doing?
Yeah,
that's.
So communication's big, and that's a good point. And like you say, not everybody watches or attends council meetings. So maybe a future social media post should explain why we're jumping the other way. Yeah, so that would be good. So
In a motion for that.
yeah, motion.
We'll look at that.
Okay.
And maybe it's nothing. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but I think we're going to get questions at least. I think we're anyway. The next point was that I was curious because I went through some of the stuff on Peterborough Housing when they were here and made their presentation. I'm not sure where we are as a municipality, because the motion that we put forward was, it was put forth and agreed upon by council, that if they aren't going to do anything with it, can they transfer it or will they transfer it back? And the answer to that was yes, they can. But then I'm not sure what we did after that, when they did the same as they did in 2018. They're going to build something else if they get money and private partners. So I don't know what threats are coming. I'm confused as to where we are with it. Are we getting it back? Are we not? Are we letting it go? Or just some clarity from maybe I'm the only one that doesn't understand it, but humor me.
So there is a committee on that at the county, and we can ask them for an update.
Well, sorry, it wasn't a county question. It was
It's a county property.
Yeah, and we went through the motion and had them come. And he answered the question when he come back, yes, they will transfer it if you want it.
Yeah, so there's some other suggestions that they had that are coming forward. So, but I think that's where it would have to go through the board to see, because you're right, we requested it.
And they agreed to it.
Yeah. Do we really want it? That's the other thing. Does council really want it?
I don't know, that the motion was made through your chair, is that
Ask
we
if they
request
can
and ask for it, they get it back. And I want to know what our answer was. We are or we are not taking it back. And what is the harm to having a piece of land back? That's not.
We have lots of land.
Sorry, through you, Mayor, I guess my idea on this. Sorry, my idea on this Smith Drive thing. I guess at this point, somewhere down the line, maybe into the next council or next budget, we could look at. Right now, I just want our big projects completed. George Street and the Arena. Smith Drive, to me, we're not gonna, unless you got a business case to start developing right away. I think we're wise just to let it sit for a bit longer. Let's finish what we got, and then, at budget time, then we could look and see if there's any new plans, if we have anything on the go, and at that point, then we could see if we can find money in the budget to proceed with something. But at this point, I just want to get George Street and the Arena done. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
I'm not sure how it ties into Peterborough housing, but anyway.
So some of the things around Peterborough housing, I have heard through some up there that the big thing with Peterborough housing, as you heard on the delegation, is there's no money. They don't have any money. So there has been a couple of suggestions about way of accessing money, whether it's private, whether it's the county financing, whether it's the township financing. The whole problem with the property is they can't access any more money. If there was a good business plan or a way of using the property, there is people out there that would help make it happen if that's what council wanted. Is that what we want? We just want to see something on there. I think that's the whole thing, is something needs to happen. We put all the utilities in and everything at the time, and we were expecting something to be developed there. And unfortunately, it seems like things changed up there. And but you're right, you've asked, and we can see where the board's at with it. But right now, I'm sure it would have went to them to discuss it. I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure they would have went to the board and said, the township wants the property back. I haven't got the answer for you today.
Well, sorry, through you, I thought it was in his response that he said that
he can't speak for the board. He could say it at the mic, but he has to go to the board and ask. He's only one person.
It's an exercise in futility. Anyway, that's good.
There's a process to everything, as you know, through council. We have a process to.
We went through the process.
We didn't. You asked for a thing, and we haven't got it back yet. That's one guy answering, saying, we can give the property back, but he would have to go to the board.
I don't have a copy of that. It's there.
Well, you gotta look for it.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think that we need to figure out, seeing that I guess they are in ownership now, what exactly Peterborough Housing Corps plan. I know we've had them here and we're but I think we need a more in-depth conversation in terms of with them in terms of timelines and stuff like that. But what we're getting at, we're getting to a point here where and Councillor Doherty, where he's coming from, is that we might have, or other people might have ideas of what we could do there. We're waiting for them. We've been waiting a long time now. I know some of that was COVID, so we'll give that excuse. But at the same time, maybe we could do something better, like if we owned it, right? Because then it's ours and then we can bring in whatever. So if we need to get investors or want someone there, I know later it's gonna, next here on the list is talk about a medical clinic. I don't know what would be a better place in our community than that property for a medical clinic. In terms of being central, easy to access, close to the old age home, the Smith Drive apartments. So to me, I think maybe that's where Councillor Doherty's coming from, just in terms of if we do want that for number 3. Isn't it better if we can control, Beaver Housing Court in terms of giving it back? But we have to get to that point where we're going to make a decision on what we're doing here. And maybe we're getting close to that now. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so I'll ask it the next time I'm there. I'll ask Matt, see where it's at. Okay, and your next item.
Well, there's been some discussion going around, and I guess this is a question for the chair, to the chair. As you've mentioned, I don't know how many times, about the council not getting anything done and holding it back. I don't know what we're doing that we aren't doing, or what we could do more. Perhaps you could elaborate on that and tell us, because you are part of council, so it's all of us that are failing if we're not getting it done. So help. I just was looking for some help as to what it is.
So yeah, I was kind of wondering where this was coming from, but yeah, this term of council, we are cleaning up a lot of things that the last council brought forward. But as far as new things, nothing. We're all tied up with drawings. Like we brought some things forward, but we're not finishing anything. And it's not council's fault. It's just the process is really frustrating. Now today we dealt with the baseball diamonds. At least we're keeping it moving, but that's about the only thing. Like other things we've agreed to, like I say, to clean up stuff that was brought forward from the last term. But as far as new stuff, we're doing things, but it's just things. There's things that we could do better at,
what are they? I mean, you made the comment, so I was anxious to what you meant by it. That's all, to you, Chair.
Even just the next item on here, like there's things there, and I'll speak to that when it comes. But we've talked about development, and we all have ideas, but we need to start the process, and that would be stuff. You know what? Rather than talk about county and city and stuff like that, let's talk about HBM. Let's get on to what we can do at HBM, because we have so much opportunity here. Let's start working on things that we can do here. Don't worry about the other stuff. Let's, if we want subdivisions here, we've talked about it, but let's council raise some sort of a committee. I know the deputy mayor has talked about, getting something like that going. Maybe it's time. Like I'm seeing other communities, we're focusing on things around our water, sewage, and capacity. Maybe we need to start looking in the rural areas. Maybe we need to look at development out in the township, like little plans of subdivision or things like that, away from our water and sewer, because there's opportunities out in Cordova as a hamlet that maybe we can encourage developers to move out there. But that's council driven. That's not staff. We have to bring it to them. And that's just one example that I'm looking around and thinking, why aren't we doing this? And maybe as the chair or as the mayor, I should be bringing it up, but I'm looking for council to do their part on that too. So that's just one thing. And like I say, the next thing, there's an opportunity here. And I think the deputy mayor just touched on it. That is an option. But I'll speak to that when we're done your discussion regarding accomplishments. But
no, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Do you have anything?
No.
Okay.
I thought, no.
Okay. No, so your speed sign, and we'll move on to that then.
Yeah, just council, as contacted by a couple of residents who reside on Smith Drive concerned about speeders up and down the street. I was made aware that there is no speed sign whatsoever on that street. I know it's a small street, it's a dead end street. But I believe there are 7 or 8 housing residents, if not all the people that live in the Smith Drive apartments as well. So I just wanted to say I'd bring it to council in terms of looking at putting up some type of speed sign in discussions with the residents. I kind of asked them whether they, if they want an actual speed sign because it is such a short, or if it drives slow or something like that. They said they would prefer a speed sign, preferably a 30 kilometer, 40 kilometer, whatever the rating is for that street be put over there. So I just put that out to council.
So that would be a motion to have Public Works to look at it then, Bob, with that, go through Peter?
That's right.
So
I'll make that motion then.
So a motion that we ask
Please.
Public Works to look at a speed sign for Smith Drive. Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Doherty. Any questions around it? All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so the next item here is the medical clinic, and after our last meeting, I went home and thought about where we're at with it, and for over 6 months I've worked on trying to find an interim medical clinic to try and get us in the game of allied services a little quicker than what it would be if we tried to build a place. It's going to take some time. It could be 3 to 5 years. So I was looking for something that we could have open by, well, at the time I was hoping to have it open by spring, but then we came into the problems around the library and the work that needs to be done there. Today we're moving on with drawings, and the drawings don't have in there any separation to make it an interim office. So where I'm at now is, I've spoke to 2 doctors, I spoke to a nurse practitioner, all of who thought that would be a good interim office. Is, a good one even said it would be okay permanently, but that's just besides the point. So where I'd like to see us go now is that I would love to see council pass a motion that if we're not going to move ahead with the interim clinic, that we move ahead with a plan. And I would like to see a motion come out of today's meeting that we move ahead with the process of developing our own clinic in Havelock. I'm calling it a clinic. It can be a medical center, it can be whatever council wants, but I'm looking at a little smaller version of what we had as a drawing years ago with Aon. But the process would be to start, where are we going to have it? Whether it's at Smith Drive, whether it's at the long-term care, whether it's somewhere else. But we need to start a process to get this going, because we sold the medical center with an agreement that, everybody has this thing that we were going to build a new one, which I thought too. So I think we need to start the process, because we're going to have to find money, whether it's an investor like you were talking about earlier. There's an opportunity here that we can get this process going, get into the game of allied services, have the doctors come here 1 day a week or whatever, just to help the ones that can't drive to Norwood. That's what my thought is, but I don't have a motion wrote other than start the process of developing a clinic for Havelock. And part of that process is to find the location. It'll be finding the money. There's a process, but I would like to see it happen sooner than later. Like, I'm talking by the early new year, that we have a plan in place to move forward. So.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I agree. I think what we're getting at here is basically the plan council came up with a while ago in terms of, in terms of the timing. I thought it was council's direction that we'd like to obviously secure the doctor, and we've been in contacts with nurse practitioners as well, but get the people who are going to be working in these buildings secure, which I think council has done before we move ahead. There's no use of us building a medical center if we've got nobody to put in it. Council's done their homework. We've signed an agreement. We have a doctor committed to our community, possibly other nurse practitioners as well. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think, basically right now we're just following the plan we set out a year or 2 ago. So I'm all for moving ahead on this. In terms of the motion, maybe just now we can leave it vague, and if it needs to be more specified in the next meeting, you know what I mean? And we can kind of add more teeth to it, but just to at least get the process started and have staff start making some phone calls and looking into this stuff, I think is a good thing for today.
Okay. Councilor Clement. I couldn't show mine. Go ahead.
So through you, Mayor Martin, so I agreed, the residents want something. What happened? Like, do we need a motion for the interim, for the doctor to come? Like, or are we gonna put him in the interim? Like, when she comes here once a week, or are we gonna follow through with that?
So maybe.
We need two motions, I think.
Or for today, if like the deputy mayor said, we leave it vague until the next meeting, at least the process, and maybe that is part of the process. Like, so
Okay.
for today, we keep it vague and start the process.
Okay, fair enough.
And then, if there's an opportunity to do the interim, that'll be up to council. Like I say, it's been since Christmas that we've been working on that, and it doesn't seem to be the flavor. So if it's not, let's go ahead with, like the deputy mayor said, let's keep it vague. If we can get a motion that we start the process, and maybe the next meeting, if there's some tweaking needs to be done, we can talk to staff and find out what exactly they need, because it'll be vague, but at least I'm happy that we're just even talking about it. Okay.
Well, I think once we have the discussions are going to change now because we actually have a doctor.
Yeah.
That we can ask about whether they would like that facility or whatnot, right? So to me, that makes it easier for myself in terms of, having the person say, yeah, I wouldn't mind coming working here, or this you should do A, B, and C. But for us to do that before, I think wouldn't have been very prudent because, I said, we're just guessing. So that's why I was against it before. I still have questions about it now in terms of the size and scope of what goes on over there. But I think in terms of, you said, an interim step to bridge the gap between now and hopefully when we get the medical center, it's a good start.
Yeah. So the motion would be that we start the process. So there's a second by Councillor Clement. Questions about the motion? Go ahead.
Question, are we starting the process or continuing on with the process we started a while ago, I guess would be the question. And I don't understand, Councillor Clement said we wanted to finish the project, so now we're going to start another one, so I'm a little confused.
We're not building, sorry, Jerry. I meant right now, we're not ready to build. We're looking at a committee to look into things. My big concern for 2025 is to finish George Street in the arena. That's my thing. My other concern was I've had numerous people who don't drive asking, if we have a doctor coming, where am I going to see them or her? That was my comment, sorry. I guess I didn't speak properly or whatever I do.
Oh, no, I was just curious. I think it's continuation is fine, and I think we have a budget coming up in September that we could, add it to and get it proceeding on. Then we'd have some money to decide whatever it is that is right on.
Okay. All right. So we have a mover, we have a seconder. All in favor of the motion, and that's carried. Okay. Shop local draw. Kathy.
Kathy.
Doesn't she come to me? She got to Leo last time.
Oh.
So we are moving along. This is our fourth draw. And this week we've had 128 entries in our, it's the most. We've had an extra week, mind you. The total receipts though for the week were $7,251. And that brings us up to a total of $15,670. Our top, number one retailer was Foodland. Number two being Home Hardware, and we had a three-way draw with The Ranch, Woody Burger, and Petro-Canada. So I think our tabletop tents seem to be working. I think I've heard Councillor Clement's names on it. Or oh, beautiful. Yeah, thank you. The winner of this draw is Pam Spooner. So we'll reach out to Pam and let her know that she has a $75 gift certificate from Pharmacy, the Havelock Community Pharmacy.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so we went right into our lunchtime was supposed to be 12 to 1. Went a lot quicker than I figured, so what's council's thoughts here?
We got left.
We got
Close, but one of the lawyers that are here, right?
9 to 1, so you want to take a lunch?
Yeah, I want lunch break. I'll make a motion, we break for lunch.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Okay,
I can
so
go.
we have,
Everyone
so we'll
can go.
just,
We can go
before we
too.
get there, so we don't have any bylaws. So yeah, so a motion,
We're coming back at 1 then?
yeah,
Okay.
motion to, we'll take a recess. Moved by Deputy Mayor Webb, second by Councillor Doherty, all in favor. That's it. So 1 o'clock. Okay, so was it a motion to resume the meeting, moved by Councillor Clement. Second by Deputy Mayor Webb, all in favor, carried. Now I have a motion to go into closed sessions held under section 239(2)B. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and sections 239(2)E for litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. So motion to go into closed. Moved by Councillor Clement, second by Councillor Doherty, all in favor, carried. Okay, so was there been no motions to come out, so we have a confirming bylaw. Kathy. Carried. Motion to adjourn, Kathy. Carried.